and welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook. I'm Willie.
I am Tim.
What's up, Tim?
Have you seen this farmer's tan I have rocking right now?
Yeah. See, I don't tan like you do. Mine's a little higher.
You know, you can. Yeah, yours is noticeusable too. Yeah.
Yep. I got it on the feet too. Look at how pale the top of the feet are compared to.
Looking at mine, I haven't even looked at it. I usually look at the arms.
I bet they're bad. You wear ankle socks a lot in the summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made the mistake. I'm gonna run another marathon. So I've been running a lot lately.
You maniac.
And it is when the sun goes. But I mean that's how I get
this. Yeah, isn't there?
I don't run with my shirt off. Nobody's shooting a running calendar here in Berkeley. I don't need to impress anyway around here. Because believe me, if the shirt's coming off, the people are getting impressed.
You know it. Same here, buddy. Anyway, welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook, where we talk about our physiques.
Yes, our physiques. And our t-shirt tabs. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Thank you for joining us. First things first. I want to mention to everybody that it's been a while since we got some feedback. I think I want an email. Somebody sent us an email. It's been a little bit since we got one. I'd love to get one of those.
Really dig into
Yeah. You can send us an email, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. We're also at Twitter on HM Yearbook. We're on Facebook and Instagram and all those things.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you can find us.
I guess we should mention real quick the Game Nerds.
Yes.
I think what's happened here is John, co-host of the Game Nerds, has recently become a father as well, and so they've been talking about golf games for 2 weeks straight, because I think maybe what happens sometimes with dads is they immediately become interested in golf all of a sudden.
Yeah, it didn't happen to me. Yeah, but I see. I could see how that could happen. Yeah.
I think what happens is, and maybe try this sometime, maybe you'll get into it, is a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Golf is always on. If you're on the couch, you're going to get a good nap in, because that's what happens to dads during golf.
Yeah, that's interesting. That must have something to do with it. Yeah, I don't... you guys are catching me on a bad night, parenting-wise here. My poor kid.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say my poor kid, just she doesn't want to go to bed. I can't tell you why.
She wants to party.
She wants to party, man. Yeah. She wants to stay up late and party.
She wants to have a slumber
party. Yeah. Part of that's sleeping, though, I think. Yeah, no.
Yes, it is in the name.
Yeah. No, we've got the full 3-year-old brain firing on all cylinders, learning new stuff every day and saying new stuff every day and coming up with new ideas every day, and very inquisitive and wants to learn about everything. What's this? What's that?
Enjoy while this will all go away. So, as you get into your 30s.
Yeah. And she just, I think she's a hard time when it's time to settle for the night. She's a hard time turning that off, man.
Right.
So,
I get it. I still have that.
Racing brain.
Well. Yeah, when you're when I'm overly stimulated, or I watch a good movie or a good sports game or something like that. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to bed right
Imagine that, but now everything is almost everything is a new experience.
Right.
Well, not everything, but a lot of things are new experiences. So
I get you.
Yeah.
I get it.
But it's not easy for the parents. So
no.
Maybe I'll take up some golfing.
Yeah. What I was saying is they're talking about PGA Tour 2K21 is what they're talking about there. Yes. They're also, all of their side quest episodes for the last like month have been food related. So
Amazing.
this is also, John, I talked to Alex a little about this. This is also his way of like kind of like shoehorning in his new podcast. Like he's basically using the side quests as kind of his way to talk about food. He wanted to do the food dudes, I think is what it was called.
Okay.
And this is his way to, they've essentially turned the side quests into food. So if you are a fan of us and also a fan of food, make sure to check out the Midwest Game Nerds, because
they talk about food.
They probably do it better than I would, at least. Like I told Alex, I usually eat when I'm hungry is basically what happens.
Yeah, that's me too.
I do not care about what it is. If it's something that sounds reasonably good.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't taste like bad to me.
Right.
As long as I can eat it. I just want to eat when I'm hungry. Yeah.
Like I think they're talking about submarine sandwiches.
Okay.
On the last
episode.
Like subs? I do like subs, but like I'm not real picky when it comes to sub. Do you have a favorite sub place?
That's a tricky one, man. Are we talking like hot subs, cold subs? Where are we at with this? Because there's a difference.
What's your favorite hot sub?
Hot sub. You know what? I guess does a cheesesteak count as a hot sub?
Okay, so it's not a cheesesteak from a sub place. Is it from a cheesesteak place specifically? Like, are you talking about...
I'm going to go... lately, I've been getting Tubby's a lot.
Tubby's got a good hot sub? I usually get the Tubby Special.
Tubby Special is a great one?
Yeah, that's a
cold
cold
I get the cheeseburger Italiano.
Okay.
A little burger on there, a little Italian dressing, lettuce, tomato, good stuff. Big fan. There we go.
Tubby's is a Detroit area chain for the people, and we're going to be talking about Detroit area stuff a little more later.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How could we not?
But Tubby's is very good. Tubby's, the issue I ran into at Tubby's is I got my credit card stolen there one time.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and they're under new management though, so I can bash the old management. But
we're
my wife is still.
We're talking about the same location.
Yes.
Whoever turned that place into a Tubby's did not know what they were doing. It was a disaster.
Was that the Taco Bell before?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a new boss in town, and it's much better.
Yes.
No, and by much better, I mean they probably won't steal your money. And also...
I mean, you can never be 100% sure with that, but yeah.
And the food's been good, so... Good. Yeah, I do like me some Tubby's. What about you? Favorite hot sub place? You got one of those?
No, I'm more of a cold sub guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think of like a hot sub.
You like some Jimmy John's.
So much like Brock Lesnar, I love Jimmy John's.
I know you do.
Yes,
we used to go a lot.
I love Jimmy John's. I do like Tubby's though. Tubby's is up there as well.
Yeah.
I remember Quiznos having a real good hot sub.
Quiznos is a killer hot sub, but you
Quiznos
can't
even
find
around
any
anymore. And Quiznos is much like what's the one? Oh, we should shout out Ernie's here in town. Ernie's,
Ernie's,
but Ernie's is more of a sandwich place, I should say.
Yeah, it's not quite a sub place.
So, a lot of people are nose up, thumb their nose up at Subway, but
there's nothing wrong with a Subway.
I love
on
me
occasion.
a good, for whatever reason, it's not very like a good white bread pizza sub from Subway.
Sure.
As far as hot subs,
every once in a while,
that's my go-to. Over in Ferndale, they have a Subway right next to the dispensary.
There you go.
Over there, it's a perfect location for both things.
Perfection.
Anyway, so there you go. That's us being food dudes. I was on the
food dude section.
I was on the Film Nerds with Alex as well. I want to plug that. Talking about Fast 9. We try to figure out what the hell is going on with the timeline in the Fast movies now.
I was able to listen and enjoy your guys' discussion about Fast 9 while I mowed my lawn. It was great.
Did you listen to the Black Widow part, or are you kind of holding that off?
I actually ended right as I finished my lawn. So my next cut, I'll be listening to the Black Widow section.
Good.
Yeah,
because we went pretty long on the Fast 9 stuff because
that's Fast 9.
I like to go deep on Fast 9. I like to consider myself a fan of the franchise. You are also a fan of the franchise.
You're a member of the Familia.
Yes, I'm ride or die.
Yes.
Much like
as am I would say. Yeah, I saw the original when it first came out. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I saw it when it came out on DVD.
Yeah.
So I've known the franchise since the beginning, but I wasn't really like a fan.
Right.
Until 6 was coming out.
And you did the...
And I went back and watched, right. And then I went, wow, I get this now. Yeah.
And we also talked about Black Widow, Alex, and I think it's a pretty good conversation.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. And then check out our Patreon, patreon.com/MidwestPodNet. We have our Tiny Terror. We just recorded a pretty fun Tiny Terror. Mm-hmm. We talk a little bit about the Fear Street trilogy. So yeah, our Tiny Terrors are kind of where we get to talk a little bit about new stuff and get to kind of freewheel a little bit. And we also preview Motor City Nightmares. So you can get those a week early by checking out our Patreon. Yes. We have all sorts of tiers there, but that'll also be out next week for our free customers. Customers is bad. I don't mean that.
I know. Yeah.
Our free, our listeners,
our loyal listeners,
wait for the free episodes. Our friends of the pod,
our tribe. Yeah, and if you notice a funny break in that Tiny Terror episode, it's because of my aforementioned kid not wanting to sleep. So there you have it. It all ties back into each other.
She's a little rile up. She wanted to talk Fear Street.
She was excited, man. She wanted to talk Slumber Party Massacre too, because she heard the song "Let's Buzz."
Did she?
She did. She didn't see the movie, which is good, probably for the best. But she heard the song "Let's Buzz."
Yeah, she is starting to she's starting to process stuff like this now.
Yes, I am careful.
You do, yeah. Summer Party Massacre, you don't want to throw her in the deep end with that.
She did ask to watch Ghostbusters today. Okay. Which is one of the coolest requests. See, this is the beauty. This is the yin and the yang of parenting right here. Is like how can I be frustrated with my kid when she's like, I want to watch Ghostbusters?
Did you do it?
Not yet. It was today, in the middle. I was literally changing her underwear, and because we're potty training right now. I was changing her underwear, and she goes, "I'm scared of ghosts." And I said, "You don't have to be scared of ghosts. Just call it Ghostbusters."
Yeah.
So they got these vacuums, and they suck the ghosts up. And she goes, "I want to watch this movie." And I said, "Okay, sure."
Right. Scared of ghosts. Hey, she's got a Zach Baggins-esque future in front of her.
Yeah, perhaps she does. Perhaps she does. I hope her hair looks exactly like that. Oh, that'd be a great Halloween costume for Zach Baggins.
Zach Baggins?
Yeah. Would you put a lot of product in her hair?
Is it cold in here? That's my Zach Baggins.
Oh, I just got scratched, bro. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, if she goes as Zach Baggins, you have to like have her say those lines. You have to get a bunch of Zach Baggins regular lines and have her like
I'll feed them to her.
Yeah. Have her go,
I can probably get her to say pretty much anything at this point, which is scary. But yeah, no. So she wants to watch Ghostbusters. She also truly discovered Prince this morning. The singer, the musician, the late musician. So my alarm in the morning is Little Red Corvette. It's the first thing I wake up to in the morning because it's a song that brings me joy, and so I figured it's a nice way to get up in the morning. And it hasn't ruined this. It hasn't ruined the song for me. I was worried it won't do that because it'd become an alarm, but it's just made the alarm more pleasant. I got up earlier today before my alarm went off because Josie got up. My alarm started going off, and I was doing something else in the other room, and so a little bit more of Little Red Corvette would play than normally would before I hit snooze or stop. And she runs. I finally hit stop, and she was in the room, and she goes, "You play this one more time? You play this one more time?" I said, "Okay." So I played the song for her, and she just started dancing around the room, and she goes, "You want more of this?" And she went, "I want more of this." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so I played Let's Go Crazy, and she loved that. And then I played I Would Die For You, and she loved that. And then she went off and did her own thing, and that was it. She got a trio of Prince songs this morning.
Ghostbusters and Prince, you are raising this kid right.
I guess so. I guess so.
Honestly, you don't need any more entertainment options than those two things.
That's pretty much all you need. I didn't realize how proud you would be in this moment. I should have realized that ahead of time. Yeah, well, it's funny. She's had a Prince T-shirt for a long time, know, so maybe it finally, she had the Purple Rain cover on a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm proud of her. Anyway,
Perfect.
Yes, Tim,
let's hop in the time machine.
Let's hop right in this time machine. So we're going back to the year 1980. What is it?
It's 87, October 6th, 1987.
87. Okay. You got a time machine?
You got one, or you want me to get one?
What was the sound that the Little Caesars guy used to make?
Pizza.
Yeah, and we're back, baby. 87.
You will understand the pizza reference a little bit later when we talk about one Mr. ATANAS Ilitch.
We will fill you in. Here we are in 1987. I am. What month was this came out?
October of 1987. I think theatrically. I have no idea. I think it was theatrically.
Okay.
Originally, yeah. I don't think it was direct video at this point.
I'm about a year and a half old at this point, which means you're, 3.5?
I would be, yeah.
You are Josie's age.
Okay.
Funny enough, at this point.
Okay.
So maybe you're giving your parents a hard time.
I would imagine so. My parents used to. Okay, this is going to be an Ilitch heavy. The Ilitch family, of course, is big here in the Detroit area.
Let's set this up early, because if we keep making references to Ilitch, we might as well get this part. I don't even want to say out of the way. It's fun.
Yeah, Mike Ilitch is the founder of Little Caesars Pizza. Which is a pizza chain that originated here in Detroit.
Yes.
And I think maybe it spread around. I think a lot of people know what Little Caesars Pizza is.
Sure.
He also owns the Detroit Red Wings, or he did own. I should say
yes.
His
family owns.
2017. His family owns the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers. I just went and saw a Tigers game the other night. I love going to the ball game.
Yeah,
they won.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I think that anybody who lives in or around a major city knows that there's usually one or two families.
Yes.
That tend to be like the powerful players in that city. Ilitches are that for Ilitches, and Dan Gilbert, the guy who owns Quicken Loans.
Yes.
Are the two big.
Gilbert Gilbert was a little more recent. Ilitch has been here. Ilitch has been kind of.
It's a bit of a dynasty.
Yes, because he owns stuff like Olympia Entertainment, which owns like the Fox Theater and the Masonic and Cobo Hall. Yeah.
They are the family of Detroit.
Sports and entertainment.
Yes.
It's usually has something to do with the Ilitch family.
They got their hands in a lot of pies. Anyway.
Oh, literally.
Yes.
Yeah. Although I don't think they're making the pies at this point.
The reason, of course, why we bring up the Ilitch family is that Mike Ilitch's son, ATANAS Ilitch,
yes,
is one of the stars of today's film that we're discussing, Slumber Party Massacre 2.
He is the driller killer.
He plays the driller killer.
Yep.
So, we just want to make sure, because we're going to be making probably a lot of references to maybe Little Caesar's Pizza, the Red Wings, perhaps. Who knows? There's a lot of references that are going to be thrown. So now you know why.
So where were we going with that originally?
Well, we just we used
because I have a good
pizza.
segue.
We used pizza as the time machine sound.
So
yes,
this provides a good segue. So normally when we go back to these times, we like to talk about like the songs and the movies from these times.
Of course,
but I want to talk a little bit about. So slumber parties aren't just for the ladies.
No.
Slumber parties are for the boys, too.
We called them sleepovers.
Sleepovers, because, that was a thing, but they were slumber parties.
We didn't call them slumber parties. We called them sleepovers. Yeah. But I don't even know that was a male-female thing. I think that was more just the time you called them sleepovers.
Right.
I don't remember anybody calling them
slumber parties. No, slumber parties is a little bit dated
older, right?
By the time we were... Yeah, right.
Sleepover was what you would call them.
So, but the boys have slumber parties as well.
Yeah, of course.
So, I wanted to talk to you. We're not going to do the normal thing. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our, like, go-to sleepover things. And one of the things I asked, like with pizza, did you have like a go-to, like when you had a sleepover, you got together with your friends? Do you remember your first sleepover?
I can't say that I remember my first one ever.
There's one that sticks out with me, but I don't know if it was my first.
Okay. I don't know that I remember my first sleepover ever. I do remember the first one. The first big one I remember was my 10th birthday, and it was my first birthday party I ever had, where I had friends come over and we had dinner and stuff. And that was cool because we all had, I believe, we had pizza, and everybody brought gifts, which I wasn't angry at, and we watched movies, and I was able to sneak a Playboy or two out of my dad's stash.
Nice.
And so when the parents went to bed, I was like, fellas, check this out. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
At 10. Didn't know really. I mean, I didn't have a full concept of what I was seeing, but
if it was a Playboy, you may have seen one of the actresses from our movie.
I could have.
I think there was a Playboy Playmate in this.
Could have been the case. So anyway, that was an early one. I remember I got a Goosebumps board game that year for my birthday, and it was really sweet. It was a whole like graveyard theme. That was a good sleepover. But yeah, and do you remember, is there a specific one for you that you...
I had like sleepovers, but it was usually like usually only one friend would like hang out for a little bit. And then I remember my first like group slumber party.
This is the first group one I can remember.
First group one, and it wasn't at my house, it was at a friend's house. And
okay.
I went over there and they had like an above ground pool. They had like a pool in their backyard.
Yeah.
So we were out there all day. We got tired, we came in, we had probably pizza. And then here's what really sticks out with me, though. We rented Judge Dredd starring Sylvester Stallone.
Sick.
We watched that, and then we watched an SNL, and this sticks out with me because it was Will Ferrell's first year on SNL. I remember this one, and it was bizarre. And then we made it till 1 a.m., and at 1 a.m. in Northern Michigan, Mystery Science Theater 3000
so you watched
came
that.
on. So we fell asleep to that.
Yeah.
And because I think at one point it was like 2 a.m, and like we were giggling like morons, and one of the parents like came down, because that was always the thing, is like once it got to a certain point in the night, one of the parents would just be like, hey kids, shut the hell up, like just shut up.
Yeah, eventually. Holy smokes. Sorry,
the
guys.
sleepover talk has got you all sleepy.
Yeah, I'm getting all sleepy. Break out your sleeping bags, boys. Eventually, yeah, inevitably, unless it was you were staying at a friend's house who maybe had like a bigger house where was a little harder. Eventually, a parent would come out and go like, "Okay, we're done now.
Yeah,
we're shutting this down."
Yeah.
The other one I remember was a neighbor's house. It was like 3 doors down from my house, so it was a sleepover, but it was like barely a sleepover. And I just remember it because it was fantastic. We went to the drive-in, and we saw a double feature of Space Jam, the original.
Okay.
Not the new one, of course.
Right.
Because this was when I was a child. We saw Space Jam, and we saw Power Rangers the movie back to back.
Oh, those came out around the same time, didn't they?
Dude. Between the Pepsi I was drinking and the pizza I was annihilating, like I was wired after that one. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
So what was your go-to? Was your go-to pizza for sleepovers? That's usually it's usually the parents' go-to for sleepovers.
Yeah, I mean, like big any sort of group thing like that. It was pizza. Once I got a little older, I would still crash at people's houses. You know, like middle school through like early high school. I think like mid high school, I'm like I don't really stay at people's houses anymore because it's just too much work. You know what I mean?
Normally, like if I'm crashing at someone's house past a certain age, it's because I've had a drink or two.
Yeah. Well, and that, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And actually, to be fair, in high school, I might have had a drink or two, but I wasn't driving at that point either, so it wasn't as. But anyway.
Yep.
Then it became Taco Bell.
Okay.
At that point, once, like, we got a little older, and I was like, you know, kind of crashing at friends' houses and stuff like that, and we were staying up late and playing video games and maybe sneaking a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something. Yeah. Because that was, or Smirnoff Ice.
Did you ever pull the, boy, my parents listen to this, but did you ever pull the, not that I would do it, I know some people did. Did you ever do the liquor, put the water back in the liquor trick?
No, my parents never kept that.
I know somebody who did
they
that.
really didn't have, I don't think.
My parents, the issue for me and why I didn't do it is because my parents didn't drink liquor. Yeah. So, like, they knew if someone touched it.
It was more there for visitors or guests.
Yes.
Yeah. See, my parents really didn't... I don't remember my parents drinking in the house much.
Okay.
Every once in a while. But, like, they would go out, like, to the bar, because my dad was in a band. So, like, they'd do their drinking at the bar.
Yep.
Probably because the drinks were free, you know? Like, I don't know. But... they didn't drink in the house too much. I remember, my parents don't listen to this, so I'm probably good at getting away with this. I do remember I would work, we would do some work under the table at a party store, and we'd get paid in like free slices of pizza and candy and stuff.
Yeah.
But we'd also sneak a couple of 6-packs out of the cooler of like Sublime or Mike's Hard Lemonade or Smirnoff Ice.
Sublime? What is that? I know it's the band.
It was like a malts.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like those. Like the I'm not ready to drink beer yet stuff. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? And we would make sure that part of our job was to take the recycling out in the push carts and put them in the dumpster, and you'd sneak a couple of 6-packs. And you'd set them behind the dumpster, and then when you left your shift, you'd ride the bike around and throw in your backpack.
Yes.
Yeah. So technically stealing. No, not even technically. It was stealing. But the guy was paying us in pizza slices, so that can't be legal either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just call it even.
That is good. Oh, God.
Plus, this was like...
You just brought back memories of, like, even like, hey, we got to find someone to buy for us.
We did that a few times, too. Yeah. So anyway, at a more innocent time, I think sleepovers were dude, they were so much fun.
These are older ladies we're talking about.
They are, yeah.
So my go-to food was Jets Pizza.
Sure.
Because... up north, Jets came in a little bit later, but Jets
I was
going
to say they had Jets up in Gaylord back then?
Came in a little bit later. We also had one because there are two sides. Basically, there are two sides of the city I grew up in, west side and east side.
Yeah,
two sides that I'm aware of, but that's where I spent most of my time. My buddies, who you know, and Joe, they lived out on the east side of town. I lived out on the west side of town. But the east side of town, Jets was out there, and Joe kind of lived way back in the outskirts. Technically, I don't even know if it was Gaylord. This was kind of like the Amtramck city within a city thing.
Interesting. Interesting.
But Jets was out there, and so was there's a place called Patriot Pizza that I remember being pretty good too. So those were my go-tos, and there's one time I remember. I won't tell that story right now, actually.
Is it still there? Is Patriot Pizza still there?
I don't believe Patriot Pizza is still there.
That's too bad.
I think it's like a bank now. Everything that from anybody's childhood at this point, it's not even just mine, has anything you remember has been turned into a bank, from what I can tell. Like a bank or a credit union.
That's so sad.
Did you have, so you talk a little bit about video games. Did you have a go-to video game or two? Whoa. We just had I believe, which is that Toka that fell down?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we would play a lot of like older games earlier on. So a lot of Super Nintendo, a lot of Mega Man, a lot of old school Mario Kart, or Super Mario Kart, I guess it was. Yeah, lots of Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis stuff early on. Bomberman was big. Like
okay, so you guys played like
Bomberman.
4-player Bomberman. I don't think I've ever played that.
Yeah, where you'd have to like fight against each other and stuff. And we would take turns playing stuff like Resident Evil, like old Resident Evil. You know, like the original. We'd pass the controller. One of us got too scared. We'd pass it to the next person. And
those were good games for me to watch because I was not good at those sort of games as a kid, but I like to watch people play them.
Yeah. Yep. Final Fantasy VII was a big one too. We'd take turns passing the controller. Like, I'm way too tired to keep playing this. You take over. Yeah, that was fun. Those nights were fun. Those were good times. Yeah.
Our go-tos, most of my sleepover like ages were with, I mean, you know, but we were big wrestling fans, as I'm sure many people know. We drop a lot of wrestling references on the show, but we were big professional wrestling fans. And so there are games that stick out. And what's weird is most of the games, because my buddy Matt and I were always bigger WWF fans, and Joe was more of a WCW fan. But back in those days, this was when the wars were in full swing. You watched both of them, and you picked a side. You picked your side, but you watched both of them. And so that's what you did. And you flipped back and forth. Anyway, what's weird is, like, we were more WWF guys, but the games I remember playing as a kid were those WCW games. WCW, was it World
Thunder,
Tour?
Something. Oh, yeah.
WCW, NW. Everybody points to No Mercy, WWF No Mercy, as the great wrestling video game, and I think it is. But they are not. They are forgetting WCW NWO Revenge, because those
was really sweet.
Those two Aki games before WrestleMania 2000 took over, those two games were awesome for 64. Those two WCW games, Revenge and I think World Tour.
I think one of the reasons why I was the same way, I was a WWF guy, but I would play more of the WCW games is A, because I think they just played better in general, and B, because I was fascinated by these characters because I didn't know as many of them. Like, I knew who like Hogan was, and I knew who the NWO was and stuff, but like, because I didn't watch as much of it regularly, like, it was kind of fun to like learn a little bit about those characters. Right. You know? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, those were our go-to. And then we would, as far as like what we would pick to watch, we would watch a lot of wrestling. My buddy Matt had a bucket full of wrestling VHS
That's
tapes.
So sweet.
It was just, and it was really random what he would have too. Like, some of it was stuff like he got from the video store.
That's so cool.
But most of it was just like stuff he taped. And the funny thing, I'm going to put him on blast here, is you could tell he would order ECW pay-per-views. And you could tell when his mom came down the stairs to check, because in the middle of the tape it would flip over to a different channel.
That is so sweet.
Well, he was watching the ECW. Sweet. For those that don't know, who are maybe young, ECW was kind of like the hardcore stuff. Yeah. And a lot of it, because of that, doesn't hold up real well today in some ways. So if you go back and watch it, hey, don't shoot the messenger. But we were kids watching it, and that was the stuff like you didn't want your parents to know you were watching. Mm-hmm. And it was just so funny, because all of a sudden you realized, like, oh, Matt had to turn it. His mom came downstairs.
So good. That's so good.
What was your go-to? What did you guys watch?
Horror movies. Funny enough. Yeah, lots of horror movies. You know, early on, when we were, younger, like elementary school days, I don't think that was the case as much. I think we'd probably watch stuff, I don't know, things like Star Wars and lots of sci-fi movies of the time. Enemy Mine, I remember watching.
Enemy Mine?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah, lots of sci-fi stuff and like action-y stuff. And then as I got into like middle school, it was horror for sure. Like, we'd go up to, because I went to Bally Video Superstore, which was, I've talked about on the show before, which was on one side of Berkeley, but on the other side of Berkeley, like on the other corner of Berkeley, was Video One, which was the other video store. So if you lived on one side, you went to Video One, the other side was Bally's. And my buddy, who I stayed at his house a lot, he lived close to Video One. So we'd walk up to Taco Bell and get an absurd amount of Taco Bell, and then go to Video One.
Did you get the big packs of tacos?
Yeah, we'd do that.
Oh, those are... One time, yeah, we got a big pack of those, and like we were drunk, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, we weren't even drunk, but it was like tacos. The best. Oh, it was incredible. And then we'd go to Video One and rent like a couple of horror movies. But he always liked like the really kind of, I'm not judging, but like he always liked like the kind of dumb stuff, like the kind of sillier, goofier stuff, like the Leprechaun series and stuff. Like he always wanted to rent that stuff. So like generally he'd grab one of those. I'd like something a little bit more like Blood and Guts and like like Day of the Dead, like kind of grim and stuff. So we'd usually start with my movie, watch that first, and then we were done with our tacos. We would move on to whatever goofball movie he rented. Right. And it worked out good. It was a nice way to end the night. But yeah, that was fun. It was good times.
Now, the question I have for you now to cap this off is: did you ever have to fight off a guitar playing drill guitar playing madman who was coming to kill you, maybe in your sleep?
No, I did not. That friend's dad, though, he played guitar.
Did he know the song "Let's Buzz"?
Maybe. I don't know. He did play guitar. I don't think he had a drill on the end of it, but yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Slumber Party Massacre 2. This was my pick. This was released in October 16th, 1987. So what's the plot of this bad boy? Courtney Bates, the younger sister of Valerie, and her friends go to their condo for a weekend getaway. But Courtney can't get rid of the haunting feeling that a supernatural rockabilly driller killer is coming to murder them all. So Courtney is, the character was in the first movie, which I watched.
She's like a little kid, right?
She's like the younger kid in the movie.
Yeah, so let's, for a second here. I didn't watch the first movie.
I ended up watching it. I had seen it before. I didn't think this was connected at all in my memories, but apparently it kind of is, but not really.
I won't go as far as to say I was lost. You might get a little something more out of it, I guess. Maybe.
I watched it before, and you really don't get that much.
Okay. Just know that the main character in this like survived some of the events of the first movie, I guess.
Yes. There are some callbacks to the events in that, but they kind of go over them, and you can read a quick Wikipedia. You can honestly read the plot summary on IMDb, that quick blurb.
This seems like they felt the need, like they had to tie it to the first one somehow.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's just make it like that girl, but she's older now. Okay. And we'll like cut back to some stock footage from the first one once or twice. Okay.
And we'll have ATANAS reference it.
Yeah.
By saying like, I'm sick of her, ready to move on to you.
Yeah. Is he supposed to be the same guy from the first movie?
No, he's not. So the guy from the first movie is like
a guy, right?
He's like a dude. He's like a kind of a skeevy, like middle-aged dude.
Okay.
I watched all three of these, by the way.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking you. You're the pro here. So
not really. I was not really intensely watching them. This is my favorite one of them. One is kind of sleazy. It's that early slasher cycle. That's what's weird about these two movies. A little bit is that came at the end of the kind of that first slasher cycle.
The first way that started in 80.
Yes.
With Friday.
Yeah. That kind of post Halloween, but like you said, 80.
The Burning, The Prowler, My Bloody Valentine.
And that goes into like a 82, 83, 84 when Nightmare comes out.
Yes.
And then we start getting that second slasher cycle, which is a bunch of sequels.
Yes. And then you get kind of weirder stuff where like you dip into stuff that's a little bit off, like Hellraiser and things like that as we move on. Some things that are still kind of slashers, but they have usually some sort of supernatural twist or
And this is a part of, so weirdly enough, this is a part of that.
Yes,
like
for
that
sure.
cycle. So this one came out in 87. The other one came out in 82. So it's kind of a nice example.
That is funny
in their own ways of like kind of like, because these are Roger Corman produced pictures too. Roger Corman produced these, and so these are good examples of like cash-ins. Around that time. And they do attempt to do some things and tell a story. And then the third one I watched too. The third one is...
That came out, what, 92?
90. And I think that was direct-to-video is what that was. I think it was direct-to-VHS at the time. And it's the worst of the three.
Yeah.
But it's also the nastiest in some ways. They up the nudity. Mm-hmm. All three movies, weirdly enough, have a scene where like three dudes are like peeping Toms. As the girls like have naked.
That's got to be the Porky's effect, right?
Yeah, that's what it is, and
that popularized that whole goofball scene of like just a few guys having a good time. Oh, look, the ladies are changing, like. And now you watch it and you go, oh shit.
And I don't know how often it happens where you have like a pillow fight. I've not been to a lot of female-only sleepovers. I don't know how often. I have not been a peeping Tom either at any of them. I haven't gone up.
No.
Not had the privilege of going like, hey, come up to the window, just walking up to a random window and seeing girls fight topless pillow-wise. I don't think that happens a lot, but hey, it happens in this movie, in these movies. So you know what? These characters do that.
These ones, maybe this is a heightened reality.
Now, the weird thing about the third one, though, is
female listeners, write in, let us know
if you've done this.
Has any of this gone down? Is there any truth to anything that's happening here?
The third one, though, like the first couple is just girl. Like this one, Slumber Party Massacre 2 is just girls kind of like horsing around. The third one is two female characters just give a straight up striptease to the entire room. Like it's a stripper scene. Like they're like stripping, and then the dudes come up to the window and go. Ooh. Which honestly, though, if I'm in my teens, and I walk up, that's probably the sound I'm making too.
Yeah, more than likely. I can't. Yeah, the peeping Tom thing kind of bums me out, but it was certainly like a cliche of this era of movies and this type of movie, and there probably are a lot of dudes horny teenagers that would take advantage of a situation like that. I don't know if they would now, but they maybe back in the day. Not sure. So
this was my pick, and the reason I picked this is to tie it back into what we're talking about with the Slumber Party sleepover stuff is I watched a lot of wrestling too, but we also would rent movies, and normally they would be horror movies because nothing goes better with professional wrestling than horror movies to cap off the night.
Dude, you just made like that sounds like the most comforting hangout night. Like garbage food, pro wrestling, like vintage pro wrestling.
Yep.
And horror movies. It's perfect.
And we had a video store on that side of town called Premier Video. And Premier Video, what was great about them is they had the best selection of both. They had best selection of wrestling and best selection of horror movies. They only had this one from the Slumber Party Massacre movies.
Excellent.
But at being teenage boys that were attracted to the ladies, we figured that there was probably nudity in this movie. Yeah,
there's at least a boob in this movie. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So this was a rental by us as teenage boys. And we did not know what we were in for because this movie is fucking hilarious.
It is. I've not seen this whole movie before. I've seen parts. I know I have because I remember the guitar with the drill. Yep. And I remember the look of the driller killer. And I remember there were musical elements. So I know I've seen this before, parts of this before at least. But I didn't remember. And let me tell you, Tim. So I am not one to... As a general rule, I don't find bad movies all that funny. Like, there are some that I do find funny, where like I'll watch them ironically and I enjoy it. Like, Troll 2 is pretty funny. Even with all the buzz about Troll, it's pretty fucking funny. Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that, yes.
The Room is pretty fucking funny. Mm-hmm. Even with all like the cultness that has followed it since, it's still pretty funny. But for the most part, I don't like. If somebody's like, "God, this movie is so bad, you got to see it." I'm like, okay.
You never know what you're getting into because sometimes a lot of those bad movies are bad on purpose, and that's kind of sometimes what I don't like.
I don't like that, but I got to tell you. My favorite type of those movies where they're so bad it's good are the ones that aren't necessarily so bad they're good. They're what the fuck did I just watch?
Yes.
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
This is a true in its purest like unadulterated form. This is a what the fuck did I just watch movie. It's me scratching my head and going, my God.
Right.
How?
This is kind of a formative film for me in a lot of ways because like this is also a movie that my buddies and I we can call out stuff to this day from this movie. I sent them a text because we have a group text still going, and I sent them a text that said like I wanna be your Tokyo Kimura.
Oh God, that scene!
And like they knew exactly what I was talking about. And
it's amazing. Isn't that beautiful?
And wanna have fun with you.
That song's pretty sweet.
So, it's something we can call back to this day, even though I don't know if they have seen it since we watched it together. But that's how much this movie sticks with you.
But it does because it does. It's insanity. It's insanity. This is not a movie I feel like we need to sit here and go through the plot.
No, there's not much of a plot. Basically, she's
traumatized by the events of the first film.
Yes.
Right? She starts having evil visions of a greaser musician killer with a drill.
He's like a rockabilly guy too.
Like a rockabilly.
He plays guitar and he sings.
Played by ATANAS Ilitch.
Yes, he's kind of like an Elvis type even.
Kind of. Yep. He does swing his hips a lot and things like that.
Yeah.
She is going.
I guess Billy Idol would probably be more the apt comparison in some ways. No, Billy Idol's more of a punker. Yeah, he's more of a punker. Maybe Chris Isaac. You remember Chris Isaac?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. He's a little bit more country. I'm just throwing that stuff to,
whatever. She's with a few friends, and they're staying at a friend's parents' house, or like summer house or something. And a few of the guy, I guess, boyfriends show up, and they're goofing off and stuff.
The peeping toms, yes.
Yes, who turn out to actually know these people.
Right.
They show up, and there's people having sex, and they're all in a band, which should be mentioned for sure. They're all musicians. They play together.
Their music was done by an actual band.
I assume that was the case.
Yeah, Wednesday Week, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, what they're called. They were a girl band in L.A. that the directors, producers kind of knew of, and they brought them in to do the songs.
And the music is all right.
I really like their song, the one they sing in the garage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's kind of like a Go-Go's Bangles type deal.
Yeah, it's not bad. Actually, the music in general isn't bad.
No,
it's kind of fun. And then the driller killer rockabilly guy does show up for real. We don't know why or how it's happening, but he does show up for real. And
this movie was essentially sold. Like in the trailer, they specifically say it's it's Nightmare on Elm Street meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So they're obviously trying to sell it as a Freddy type deal with this.
Yeah, that's for sure the case. It's never.
I guess it's
even
not the trailer.
It's
more the video, like when they used to put together those things to sell the video stores. Like you should order this many copies. They put that in there. They put that in there.
This movie has some tonal similarities to like Texas Chainsaw 2.
Yeah, I get that.
It's similar vibes. Yeah, in what it's doing. But anyway.
And thematically, it might have some, judging by what some people have said. I didn't get it as much, but it might have some in common with Nightmare 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. Anyway, so that's the plot of the movie. And then he starts killing everyone.
With his drill, his guitar drill.
But also singing sometimes.
So this movie was written and directed by Deborah Brock. She has not done a lot other than this. She became a producer later on. She did Buffalo 66, with I think is the Vincent Gallo movie.
With Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, yeah.
One Tough Bastard with Brian Bosworth, old football player, and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. She also did a sequel with Corey Feldman to Rock and Roll High School called Rock and Roll High School Forever. I never heard of this, and I love Rock and Roll High School.
They reference Rock and Roll High School in this, don't they?
Yeah, they're watching it on TV at one point. And that's what she's going for. She's going for kind of a movie musical with this. She's talked about it. There are a couple of things I'm pulling from for facts. The Joe Bob special he just did on Last Drive-In. There's also a Scream Factory
release.
Yeah, Scream Factory release. It has a 20-minute kind of interview. It's actually kind of fun to watch, and you can find it outside of the DVD. But you should order the DVD if it's still. I think it's out of print actually, because I had to watch part 3 on YouTube.
Do they get to interview ATANAS on the Scream Factory?
So no, because ATANAS has kind of gone his own way.
Well, I think he's now like a member of the family's like business.
He's
stuff.
A holder, and he's a part of Ilitch Holdings. He's like a holder.
So he probably doesn't necessarily need to be.
He's heavy. I think he might be heavy into the entertainment side of things. Like I think he does a lot of work on the kind of the Olympia entertainment side with the Masonic and the Fox Theater, things like that. Would be my.
So if I could convince ATANAS Ilitch to sit down for some sort of interview with some sort of false pretenses of it being about, like what it's like to take on the family, the legacy that his father, and then like at the end of and ask him legit questions, and at the end be like, before I leave, would you sign this copy
of Slumber Party Massacre 2?
Do you think he would do it?
Yeah,
I think he would. I think he'd chuckle and he'd go, "Oh no," and I bet he would have a good
sense of
humor about it.
Since we've gone to ATANAS real quick. ATANAS Ilitch, the guy who plays the driller killer, was trying to become a music star out in Hollywood. At the time, and they were holding open auditions, and he came in and auditioned, and he blew the director Deborah Brock away. She's like, "I need to audition more people, but this is the person I want to hire."
And he's very good.
He released an album. He released a fantastic vinyl with him holding a cat on the back.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I can relate to the.
We're gonna have a listening party at the end of this because I want to play one ATANAS song for you. Because I found the only one on YouTube, but so he released this album, and then he was in this. But then he went back to kind of like you said, into the family business. Yeah. He also he got bone cancer.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but apparently, from what I gather, it's in remission after like 3 years.
Good.
And now he's been working on the family side of things since then. So, do I think he would sign it? Yeah, I like to think ATANAS, this would bring back good memories for him.
I would hope so. I mean, why not? There's no reason to regret, decisions of the past. It's fun. That always bummed me out about certain celebrities when people bring up, being in horror movies and things like that early on in their careers. It always bums me out when you get one of those people who's like, I don't want to.
This is part of the reason I've loved watching Kevin Bacon these last couple of years, because he's fully embraced Friday the 13th.
Did you see that commercial that commercial in Europe where he reprises his role as Jack from Friday the 13th Part 1?
No.
Oh my God, it's so sweet.
I've seen him talking about it on talk shows.
Dude, it's so sweet.
And I know he loves Tremors now too. Like he shot that Tremors TV pilot.
Yeah,
that never got picked up.
Wanted it.
Yeah, and so did I.
I will be playing that for you after we wrap up as well.
I don't think I saw that. So no, I'm with you. I like when that happens too. So written and directed by Deborah Brock. The other thing about this franchise, because there are 3 movies and they're making a 4th actually. That's going to be on Sci-Fi later this year, I believe. Maybe it's not a 4th. It's more of a reboot remake.
Yeah,
that will be on Sci-Fi later this year. But this trilogy of films were all written and directed by female writers and directors,
which is so interesting to me. It really is.
Corman referred to this as kind of his like feminist franchise. I don't think there's a ton of that here. The director even says in the interview, like, if there's anything here, it's about sisterhood. She talks about it more just being about virgins scared of their first time having sex.
Yeah,
kind of what this movie is about, and it's pretty on the nose with that.
It's not exactly subtle.
ATANAS is essentially trying to have sex with Crystal Bernard's character.
Yes,
throughout the movie,
and I think
penetrate her with his drill.
Yes, it is not exactly subtle. The use of the weapon. I mean, he's thrusting the weapon at various women over the course of the movie. It's not like
and he's doing kind of suggestive dances, kind of much like Elvis.
Very suggestive. Yes,
very very much using his hips to turn these ladies on. The hips don't lie, as Shakira would say. This was originally called "Don't Let Go" because I think the song at the end of it is. But then basically what happened is Corman got money while he was over in Cannes, like just on the name Slumber Party Massacre 2 alone. He got investors involved in this. So it was Don't Let Go, Slumber Party Massacre 2, and then they just went with Slumber Party Massacre 2 as the title. So that's it. Let's talk about Crystal Bernard real quick. She's the most recognizable member of this cast.
Funny thing, so Nikki popped out in the room while I was watching it, and she goes, I know her. She goes, I think she plays a mom on a sitcom or something that I used to watch, and I IMDb'd and I went, no, she's from Wings. And she goes, oh my God, that's it. So right away she knew. So
she plays what's her name on Wings?
Helen
Chapel.
Okay.
Chapel.
Yep.
So the thing with Wings is, here's the thing I want to get across to people, because you will back me up on this.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people might listen to this podcast sometimes and go, man, as kids you guys watched a lot of TV and movies. You and I though grew up because you were in Colorado too for a little bit, right? But you were in Michigan a lot of your life as a kid, right?
Yeah, I was in Michigan most of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't move out to Colorado until 2007.
Okay. Okay.
November of 2007. And I was only out there until September of 2008.
I didn't know if you would live there while you were younger or not.
No.
So here's what I'll say to that too, because I've thought about it too. It's like, because I've been thinking about this recently. We have like 4 months of good weather.
Yeah. So in fairness to us, and I played outside a lot too.
Me too. When the summer came, I was outside.
Yeah. And even in the winter before it became like sub-zero, when we had some snow and I could go get a little But I'm not a big skier. I don't like skiing. I don't like stuff like that. So guess what? When I was inside, sometimes the TV was on. And when the TV was on when I was younger, this is a Seinfeld joke, I believe, in like a stand-up routine. Fucking Wings was on constantly. Wings was on every channel, all the channels.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
If it was a basic cable channel, Wings was on. Isn't that isn't it crazy? I don't know.
So she was on Wings. She was Helen Chappell on Wings.
Yep.
She's with I don't even remember his name right now. I'm blanking on it. What's my man's name that did the It audiobook? Steven Weber. Weber
was the lead. One of the leads. Was he the lead or one of I can't remember.
He and the guy that was in the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on. He was in another King adaptation.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Sorry, we're looking up the Wings cast because it's really bothering me that I cannot remember this dude's name. Tim Daly. And Thomas Hayden Church, of course, was in it. Tony Shalhoub was in it.
Yep.
It's a good cast. Wings is a good show.
Good cast. Cool show, actually.
Yes.
I never watched it back then. I always thought it was kind of, boring, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never, but as I got older, I was like, this show's actually kind of rad. Yeah.
She was also, she was a gospel singer and she was a country singer. She released a couple albums as well. This is a very musical movie. She plays Courtney Bates from the first movie. She helped kill the killer of the first movie. There's kind of a fun kind of story anecdote. The woman who plays her mom ended up guest starring on Wings. And Wings came out like a few years after this. And so Crystal Bernard does not like... I don't know if she was embarrassed. She doesn't list this on her website from what I've gathered and what I've seen. So she may be a little bit...
Yeah.
But she tells the story. The mom who played her tells the story. She guest starred on Wings, and she went up to her, and like she could tell she didn't recognize her, and she went up to Crystal Bernard and was like, hey, I played your mom on this movie. And Crystal Bernard was like, oh my God. And she like introduced her to the whole cast as the mom from Slumber Party Massacre.
That's cool. So it's probably just not something that she feels the need to
talk about.
Yeah, that's all.
A couple other here. Kimberly MacArthur plays Amy. She was a Playboy Playmate. That's who we were kind of referencing earlier.
Yep.
She also played Lady in Hot Tub on an episode of Magnum P.I., the old Magnum P.I. with Tom Selleck.
That's right. Yeah, and I believe she had a kind of a thing in her contract or agreement to do the film that she did not want to show her breasts because she was trying to get away from that. Because she had done it in film, and obviously she was a former Playmate.
Yes.
Yeah, so good for her.
Yeah, and I think she did some soaps and stuff after.
Yeah.
So Juliet Cummings is Sheila. So horror fans may know her from Friday 5. She was in Friday the 13th.
Part Robin.
Beginning. Yep, she's Robin.
Yep.
She was also in Psycho 3.
And lots of genre stuff, for her.
So there's a great website that I found just randomly. It has not been updated since 2012. It's called the Hochstetter Place, and it's all about the Slumber Party Massacre movies and the Sorority House Massacre movies. I can't remember.
Yeah, yep.
But it's about those, and they have some fun trivia on there. And it's believed that she was in real pain while shooting the chase scene due to her fair-skinned knees. That is
okay. So weird.
One more here, I think. Heidi Kozak as Sally Burns. She was in Society. She plays
Yeah.
And she's also in Friday the 13th Part 7. She plays the girl who kind of goes skinny dipping at one point. So
it's been a while since I've watched 7.
7 is one I
don't go back to it very often.
Weirdly enough, 7 was like one of my favorites as a kid, and it's one I revisit the least.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And then, of course, ATANAS Ilitch. So we'll talk about ATANAS in a second. Do you have any favorite moments from this movie, though?
Favorite moment? God, dude. Okay. You know what's funny? None of the kills are particularly like amazing or anything in this movie.
Right.
But that's okay. The highlight is Let's Buzz. It's the musical number with ATANAS going full ham, full late era Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, singing directly into the camera, dance moves left and right, rockabilly swagger going on.
He does have some swagger. Doesn't
he does.
Yeah.
Teasing and tormenting his victims before with a little song and dance before he takes them out. That whole sequence is pretty great. And really, anytime, I almost wish they leaned even further into the musical element of this.
You want him to be full blown musical.
I would be kind of cool with that, because honestly, like I said, the music isn't bad.
The director said she was going for like a Rocky Horror type movie. I'm kind of with you. I don't think it gets there just because there's not quite enough. Like there's.
I almost would have been fine with her going a step further.
There's a middle section where there's not enough music.
So anytime they cut into music, including the Tokyo, what is the song?
I wanna be your Tokyo convertible.
Yeah, just that random cutting. Like for some reason they just start singing, and you're like, what? What movie am I in? And it goes on for a while, and you're going. Huh? Because it's your first instance of having the characters like.
Oh, there's also
that.
There's also that scene too where they kind of have it's the pillow fight scene, and they cut to like the girls, and it's like a straight on shot. It's like a solo shot of them, and they're like dancing in front of the camera. They're like they're like looking weird. Right at the camera.
I love that
one
stuff.
By one.
That's the stuff I liked in this movie because it's so weird, but I kind of I love it.
That's the stuff that feels most like a musical.
And I dig all that. That's my favorite stuff in the movie for sure. I do also like how hilariously like abrupt the final like showdown / like the end of their showdown, the showdown between the killer and the final girl.
So this is only a 77-minute long movie.
It's short.
In the killing, ATANAS, the driller killer in here, does not really show up until like 50 minutes in.
No, he takes his time.
He takes his time, and his first kill, I believe, is like almost an hour into the movie. And then we get to the final, like the climax, and it's basically the two characters, the two female characters. One of them is hanging on to the side of the lumberyard, which is a lumberyard where Corman filmed a lot of his projects.
Of course.
It has a name. I'm blanking at it right now.
Of course it is.
But it's Roger Corman is notoriously a on the cheap filmmaker.
Yeah.
It's also why he's made a lot of money in his time. But
true.
He has a lumberyard where they filmed a lot of stuff. So she's hanging on the side of it, and then she just falls to the ground. ATANAS comes in, and then Crystal Bernard's character immediately lights ATANAS on fire.
Yeah, it just kind of lights him on fire. And that's
it's a good fire stunt, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then it's just kind of over. I mean, there are like 4 false endings after that. I'm assuming they couldn't settle on which like jump scare ending they wanted.
Yeah, it's the Lord of the Rings of slasher false endings.
Just keeps happening. That first Friday, that first Nightmare on Elm Street has like 6 endings too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
Yeah, this has the ending. Yeah,
it starts with
her laughing.
Yes,
on the stretcher.
Is that what it starts with? No.
Yeah,
she wakes up from a dream and she's in bed.
It starts with the stretcher, and then it goes to her waking up. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's so many endings I can't remember. And then she wakes up next to ATANAS in bed, and then there's the she's in an asylum,
the insane asylum,
and the drill comes through the floor.
Yes, she's in the asylum with her sister now, or
I guess.
Yeah, who ATANAS says, quote unquote, already had, and now he's going to have her. So there's a reading on this. So what is your reading on this? Is this all in her head?
Tim, I don't.
So there's an interview. The interview with the director. She is aware of this reading, and she's just like, no, this stuff already happened, and it's driven her insane. Like that's my reading of this movie. But there are people that are just like, no, this is all in her head, and there are some people that are like, no, this whole movie is about her bisexuality coming out. Like it's all like her subconscious, and like that's one of those things that where I go, I think you're reading too far into it, but then I also go like, well, I don't know what else. I don't know what else. I mean, you got to read something into this movie. This movie is like a nice, every great piece of art. It's open to interpretation.
Of course. I think it's look. Here's the thing. Like, if I'm being honest, there's nothing to read into here. This is trying to be a Nightmare on Elm Street movie without any of the actual like consideration of creating a cohesive plot and a reason for anything that's happening. It also wants to be a musical at the same time, and neither one of them fully wants to commit, so it's just kind of doing both and being really funny. But I also think it's fun to read into this shit, because why not? I do not think the subtext is as in your face, certainly as like a Nightmare 2. That to me, anybody who denies that that's in that movie wasn't paying attention when they were making the movie, because that's right there. This one, I didn't read it. I didn't read the whole bisexuality thing, to be honest with you. I just didn't read it in the movie. Maybe I wasn't looking for it, but I think it's a fun read, I guess. In regards to her, is it a dream or did it actually happen? I like to think. I guess if I'd have to pick one of the two, I like to think it's a dream. I like to think that she's been in the asylum since she was a little kid from the first movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she listens to rock and roll music, and it's the only thing that can calm her down in her fits of hysteria and stuff like that. And like she's somehow blended this fantasy world of like what my life could have been like if things hadn't happened in the first film, and then she intersperses some of the music that she listens to in there. And yeah,
I like that. I get that.
Some real life stuff bleeding into it. I don't know. We'll go with that reading.
So before we talk about ATANAS here, we've been teasing ATANAS this whole time, but I do want to say I really like the practical effects in this movie. I like the drill kills.
Yeah, they're good.
I like the stuff hanging from the drills. I like the kind of fake out sequences where like she's eating the sandwich and there's a hand in the middle of the sandwich.
There's some fun stuff there. Yeah.
But my all-time favorite scene in this movie, and my buddies and I's favorite scene, was always the zit popping scene.
Oh my God. What the hell was that?
It is disgusting.
It is so
right?
gross.
So she gets one of the friends. I'm blanking on her name right now. It's not Sheila.
Sally.
Right? Yeah.
Keeps complaining
Sally.
about having a zit.
Having a zit. She's been complaining the whole time, and it grows into essentially like a boil, and then it grows even further into just like half of her face.
This is all like a nightmare sequence.
Yes, it's all like a nightmare, and it grows into half of her face, and it explodes, and it busts out like yellow pus onto Crystal Bernard.
On her face. It's really gross.
This is the funniest thing.
It's really funny, though. I forgot about... How did I forget about that?
It is so gooey and gross.
It's ridiculous. That's a fun moment, too.
I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to touch on from the movie?
No, this is a great movie.
Rock and roll never dies, baby. Let's Buzz, the dance sequel. Well, I guess that's
Let's Buzz. This is a great movie.
So ATANAS Ilitch, we've talked much about him. I should have mentioned too.
As we should.
He was trying to be a musician. He opened up a recording studio and label.
No, he wasn't trying to be. He was a musician.
He was a musician. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At the time,
he created music.
Yes, he did. Yep.
He was trying to be a star.
He was trying to be a music
like pop star.
A pop star, yes. Yeah. And he opened up a recording studio. I probably hear, judging by who recorded there, because it was called Soup Can Records, and Anita Baker, Aretha Franklin, and R. Kelly all recorded at the studio.
Right. So it was probably,
Yes. So, like we mentioned, now he's with the family. Now he's with Ilitch Holdings, who owns much of Detroit and much of the entertainment options here. What do you think of his performance in this movie?
Oh, he's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a standout, honestly. Like, I'm actually not goofing or joking when I say that. Like, of course, there's a silliness to the fact that this guy is Mike Ilitch's son, especially, obviously, since we're from Metro Detroit, and the fact that he did this thing all these years ago. But no, I think he's a ton of fun in this. I think he's got a lot of charisma, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's intimidating, and he's got, like I said, that swagger. No, he's fun. I think he's a lot of fun, actually. And I think he does a surprisingly good job.
His dance number
is kind
of incredible.
It's solid. Yep.
Yeah, he's got the moves.
Yep.
Like you said, he's got a lot of charisma. So we should mention he did put out an album, and one of the songs off the album is called "Let's Live Together."
Okay.
And what is this album called?
This is...
I'm going to check real quick. I believe it's just called ATANAS, but let me check real quick.
Okay. Is it called Shadows?
Ooh, I think so.
Yeah, Shadows.
Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, he released an album called Shadows, and he released a single called Sugar Summer. Sugar Summer.
The one I've got here is "Let's Live Together." So I'm gonna take off this microphone. We're gonna listen to it.
Yeah,
for
I
a second
hear
together.
It. Yep.
And I'm gonna not crank it, but I want everybody to listen to it. I'm gonna hold it up to the speakers here.
It's pretty good.
He's gonna sing here eventually.
This is good. Let's live together.
All right, so I'm not gonna play the whole song, but that's the first.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like a
He's not saying like let's have sex,
like, which is what most songs I think would say.
It's what most songs have said in the history of songs. Is basically like most songs are about like I want to have sex.
Let's do it. It's not like let's fall in love or like I love you, right? That's not. It's like this is a practical statement of like let's move in together. We could probably.
He comes from money. He understands the value of money.
Yeah.
You're right. He's like, hey.
He's like,
I need
honestly,
someone to split half this rent with me.
Yeah. No. Like if we. If we condense our bills into like a shared, like a.
Let's get a shared bank account.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Let's merge mortgages. Yeah. Like. It's perfect. It's actually very practical.
Let's
and I appreciate
take those cans back. That'll buy us dinner tonight.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, ATANAS. This is responsible. That's a responsible love song.
Yeah, you're right. It reminds me of a little bit of like. Do you remember? We don't have to take our clothes off.
It's on my. It's on my. I bought it on iTunes. I love that song.
Oh no.
Well, that's just responsible.
Once again, you don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time.
Dude, I love. What's his name? Jermaine Stewart. Love Jermaine Stewart. He was like a Prince, like kind of not knockoff, but like he was definitely coming in off
inspired by Prince.
Yeah, for sure.
Jermaine Stewart was not the one. Was he the one that sang the song with "I always feel like"? That wasn't him.
Watching.
No, that was Rockwell. Excuse me, that was Rockwell.
Yep.
ATANAS his music is very much in that vein. Very much in that kind of that 80s pop vein. Look at this. See now. Look at these pictures of ATANAS.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's got like a Kangol hat on there, like a derby hat or whatever you want to call it. And then there's the back cover with him and the cat.
We can get a hold of him, right?
Here's the track.
This is attainable, right?
Here's the track listing from ATANAS' album Shadows. So the first is the title track Shadows. Then he's got Dark Night, and then I believe this says Tina is the next one. I'm sure this is a song about Tina, a woman named Tina. Sorry, Escape, which I'm guessing Enrique Iglesias did a remake of.
Of course,
you can run, you can hide, can't escape. You big Enrique fan?
Oh,
I had a
that's
friend.
I
had a friend who loved Enrique, and it was like his go-to album for like
interesting
for like the ladies. Like when he had the ladies on.
Okay,
he would play Enrique.
Yeah, I like Enrique. Sure, yeah, he's cool. Heroes. I can be a hero, baby. I can kiss. That's a good one. That's a good song. Yeah.
Crazy in the Dark.
Crazy in the Dark. Okay.
Let's Live Together, which we are both huge fans of. Talk to Me Like the Rain.
Interesting.
I don't know why that title is so funny.
Talk to me like the rain.
Is he saying like the rain is soothing maybe? And
yeah, like chill me out, bruh. All right.
Shoot the Gun, which has got to be sexual.
I don't know. It's ATANAS.
Do you think he's going to? Well, what do you think Shoot the Gun is?
He just went to the range.
He went to the range.
That's all. He's taking he's taking out aggression in a responsible manner. He's got his soundproof earmuff things on, and he's just going out for a day on the range. That's all.
Sorry, I'm laughing really hard at the idea.
That he wrote a song about
going out to the
gun range.
The gun range. And then the final track on here is called "The Bergman Affair," which sounds very saucy.
This is the track where I read the track list and I went, "Ooh, is this like a concept album or a concept song?"
I'm going to see if I can find the lyrics to this because I Love Affair. No, there are no lyrics anywhere. It's not on YouTube. I have no idea what the song's about. It almost sounds like, I'm kind of with you. It kind of sounds like the Thomas Crown Affair. Like maybe he's pulling, maybe ATANAS is pulling a heist here.
I like it. I like it.
With Rene Russo. So yeah, that's it. If anybody is able to find the ATANAS Ilitch album, I cannot believe there's not a record store in Metro Detroit that has
somewhere. They've got it somewhere, dude.
I'm gonna be this will be what I'm looking for from now on.
This needs to be a quest you have from this point forward. This is one of your life goals.
Because honestly, I have to hear. The Bergman Affair is apparently it doesn't exist on the internet, which I can't believe. But I need to hear this song before I die.
Yeah.
Like, it is my bucket list. It is the only thing on my bucket list is to hear the Bergman Affair.
We'll make it happen. Don't worry.
All right. That's it, I think. You wrap up any final thoughts on Slumber Party?
Yeah,
I'm drinking a Stroh's, by the way, a Detroit.
Oh, excellent.
A Detroit classic.
Excellent. It is a ton of fun. Well worth a watch. It is on Tubi, which is the perfect venue in which to watch this film. If you don't have a VHS copy, this is the best way to do it.
Exactly.
No, seriously, it's a ton of fun. I laugh my ass off. It's been a while since I've seen a movie quite like this.
Did Nikki watch this with you?
No.
Okay.
She would have enjoyed it, though, I think.
I think so, too. Yeah.
She caught bits and pieces, and she was like, what?
That's kind of how Amy was too. Amy likes to every once in a while she knows she knows which movies she'll enjoy that I'm watching as far as horror movies goes, and I think this is one of them because she liked to poke her head in every once in a while to see what the hell was going on.
So she knew it was something good. Awesome, man. Yeah, no, it's a ton of fun. Thank you for suggesting it. Honestly, it was well worth a watch.
What do you want to do next?
I know what we're doing next.
Perfect.
Because I've been excited for this for a long time.
Perfect.
And I feel like it's finally available for rental on Amazon for like $3.80, it looks like, which is a weird amount of money for an Amazon rental. Let me just make sure that is the case.
Do you have this? Is this in Canadian dollars? Are you converting this?
Yeah, what is happening here? I'm pulling up Prime Video right now just to make sure that that's correct. Because the Amazon app and the Prime Video app are two different beasts. So I want to be absolutely sure.
Hey, Bezos, quit going to space and fix
your shit. It's $3.80. How did that happen?
Get it so these apps are just one thing that I can look at. Yeah.
Anyway, it is available for rent on Amazon now. It may be available in other places. I'm going to be ordering the Blu-ray because I love this movie, and we're finally doing it. And I've brought this movie up like 17 times on the show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Ryuhei Kitamura's Versus.
Okay, cool.
We're finally watching it.
Okay, we haven't done it.
No, because the first time I brought it up, it was unavailable anywhere. You couldn't stream it anywhere.
Oh.
You couldn't buy... the DVD was out of print. Everything. There was never a Blu-ray release. Arrow, I believe, has released the Blu-ray. It is available on Amazon to purchase for $20.
Do you think this is worth a blind buy from me?
This movie fucking rules.
Okay, so it is.
Tim.
Yeah, okay. The Blu-ray is worth a blind buy, you think?
I'd never want to say yet. I'm going to buy the Blu-ray, so if you'd like to borrow it and then decide.
I don't want to do that because we're going to have to watch it. I might just do it. I might just pull the trigger. I've been.
Do you like Japanese cinema?
Yes.
Do you like Sam Raimi films?
Yes.
This is a marriage.
And I like Ryuhei Kitamura.
Then you're going to like this movie.
Cool.
There are two cuts of the movie on the Blu-ray. I will say this. I'm not going to tell people to go out and buy a $20 Blu-ray of any movie that we talk about. That being said, there are multiple cuts of Versus. I plan on watching both. I'll say that.
Cool.
The cut on Prime Video, I believe, is the 2-hour cut, which I think is just the standard theatrical, nothing, it's very good. And it's the version that most people, I think, have seen. There's a 2004 cut called Ultimate Versus, which features 10 minutes of additional and newly filmed footage to add some stuff to the film that Kitamura wanted to put in the original film that he didn't have the budget for. And then Versus kind of became a weird phenomenon there for a second.
Yeah.
And so he got the money to shoot the stuff.
Okay.
Versus rules, dude. I fucking love this movie. I'm
excited for this now.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We're going with two batshit crazy movies side by side because I'm not going to lie to you. It's insane.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So.
Awesome.
Here we go. Versus.
horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com, at HM Yearbook on Twitter, Horror Movie Yearbook on Instagram and Facebook. Anything else, Willie, for this
That's
week?
it.
Versus, I'm excited for Versus.
Me too.
We'll be back.
Me too.
All right. We'll see you next time. Stay safe, everybody.